All right, guys, we're going to be continuing and exploring what we absolutely could be seeing in Savage Shadowland, the next part of the story. So in my last video, we talked about where I believe we're headed to next. But in this video, I kind of want to talk about what exactly is waiting for us in Savage Shadowland. Now, the first big hint that we get is the word Shadowland in Savage Land. So I did some research, I did some digging, and I looked up exactly Shadowland, and it turns out that it is a series based around Daredevil. And in this series, Daredevil is actually not the good guy. So we think in Shadowland, the comic series, Daredevil is possessed by an evil spirit of the Hand. Now, this evil spirit slowly starts fully taking over Daredevil and start making him go insane, pretty much. To the point that where he fights Bullseye, his nemesis, he ends up killing him on the rooftop. But before he kills him, but this guy doesn't just kill him. Like, this guy does it in a way where it's like, whoa, man, this is pretty damn brutal. Like, he dislocates both of his shoulders, leaving him completely pretty much handicapped. Then to top it all off, he stabs Bullseye right in through the chest with Bullseye's own weapon. Now, while all this is happening, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are literally standing on a building not far from where this is happening, and they see everything. The only reason they didn't get in was because Daredevil told them if they are loyal to the Hand, you can help, but if you're not, stay back. So Luke Cage and Iron Fist just stood there and watched Daredevil kill Bullseye. Now, the reason why I believe this story is the story that's going to be somehow in Savage Shadowland is because there is actually an Omega card that is titled Shadowland, and then if you look at the cover of it, it's the same cover as the story, this one, except there's another Omega card, and that one is also Shadowland, but this one is called Shadowland Blood on the Streets. And what Shadowland Blood on the Street is basically, it's another story happening at the same time, but somewhere else. And in that story, the Hand seems to be killing people when Daredevil has clearly told his minions that they cannot kill. Turns out that the Hand is being framed to make them look like murderers by a group of cops, and a completely different group of heroes ends up confronting it, solving the mystery, arresting these corrupted cops that are trying to frame the Hand. Now, that is a completely another story taking place at the same time and during the events of Shadowland, where Daredevil's fighting all these other superheroes, but a different place, right? So why are these two as Omega cards? It's because I believe that these two comics were inspired to make the story that's going to take place in Savage Shadowlands. Now, going back to Shadowlands and Daredevil and what's going on over there, he's turning evil, he's getting more powerful. Now, all these other heroes are starting to show up, but randomly, like Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, Elektra, and a couple more. But there's no really clear explanation of why they're even there. They just kind of show up. A lot of people during this time when this comic book came out, this comic Shadowland was not very well received. There was a lot of plot holes in this story, and it was probably, from what I'm seeing, a lot of people are calling it one of the worst Daredevil stories. Now, in the story, the heroes just show up and they're teaming up to fight Daredevil, and they are attacking Daredevil, but it looks like they cannot beat him. There's even a part where Ghost Rider, who is literally a badass throughout this whole series, shows up and breaks through the wall. And as soon as he breaks through that wall, you know, it's like, okay, now Daredevil's about to fight Ghost Rider. Daredevil might get his ass kicked. But as soon as Ghost Rider breaks through that wall with his bike, he instantly gets sweet chin music right to the chin and knocked out. and Daredevil sucks the fire out of Ghost Rider. He sucks the fire out. Ghost Rider's just chilling. Oh, man. I was like, that's it? Really? Are you serious? So he sucks the fire out. Stuff happens. Anyways, what ends up happening towards the end is Foggy, a good friend of Daredevil and a co-worker of Matt Murdock, sneaks into the building and he's thinking to himself, yeah, I'm gonna go. My plan is to go in there, talk to him, and I'm his friend. I'm one of his good friends. I'm one of his best friends. He's gonna know me. I'm gonna be able to reach his soul and he's gonna change. He's not gonna be evil anymore. And that's just all this stuff is going on in his head. So, and then as he's going through the window to confront. So anyways, Foggy's getting his ass choked out by Daredevil. The plan misfires. It's completely, he can't even get a word out of his mouth. He can't even, before he even tried to convince him and try to get to him, he's already getting choked out. It's crazy. It's hilarious. But while he's getting choked out, Iron Fist sees this as an opportunity to use some of that chi and do a certain attack that he has not done before to Daredevil. So he hits Daredevil pretty damn hard right through the chest. But Daredevil says like, well, it didn't really do anything. And she was like, au contraire, my friend. That punch wasn't meant to do damage. It was meant to heal. So what it does is it takes out the spirit out of Daredevil for just a little bit. But in that time, Daredevil was able to start thinking in his conscience again. And in his conscience, Elektra's talking to him and Elektra gives him a katana. And she's like, you know what you're gonna have to do. And Daredevil, which is in his head, is Matt Murdock. He doesn't look like Daredevil, he looks like Matt Murdock. He's holding the katana, tell him that I'm sorry. And then he just shanks himself right in the chest. He kills him, he sacrificed himself so the spirit can't get back into him. So he sacrificed himself. As soon as he got some of his conscience back and he was able to be in control, he takes his own life to save everybody else. We don't really know what happened to the spirit, but it didn't really die. He just couldn't get back into the body, so it's probably still out there. But that's where it ends. That's where we're gonna stop talking about that part. Now that we know the story of Shadowland, we go back, and I believe this is what's happening. Okay, now bear with me. Okay, this is what I believe is gonna happen. I think that when the story came out, it wasn't well liked, and a lot of people hated that story. But I believe that it's because it didn't make sense. But if you take that story and you put it in a different location, now where all these other heroes that show up, you will know why they show up and why they're there, and it will be a better reason for the heroes to be there. So I believe in this update, we're gonna get what happened in the story of Shadowland, Daredevil, and they're gonna put it in Shadowland. So we're gonna be dealing with an evil Daredevil that's possessed by the spirit. So the real villain is gonna be the spirit. But this Daredevil is gonna be badass, and he's gonna I hope that he's wearing the black suit and with the red eyes. He looks freaking cool. And the horns start the more crazy and the more control the spirit's taking over Daredevil, the more his horns start growing. So it's crazy. It's weird how much devilness is in these updates, huh? So this update is going to include Daredevil as the main or a villain in general. But I feel like the biggest part of it is that when they show up to this place, it's going to be corrupted by the spirit. Because in the story, the more that Daredevil was losing control of his body and the spirit was taking over, the more people in the city started losing their mind and freaking out and started rioting and doing things that they didn't really meant to do. So I feel like that is what's going to be happening in Savage Shadowland. As Daredevil is slowly turning more into that beast, we're talking about all the creatures out there gonna start going crazy. And in the comic book, okay, while Daredevil is fighting these Marvel heroes, Daredevil is looking for help because he knows that the ninjas that he has, the hand, is not strong enough to take out the heroes. They easily get killed. So Daredevil starts looking into bringing people back from the dead, like Bullseye, who he killed early on in the story. So he tries to but he fails. But the thing is that they can bring somebody back from the dead. Now, how in this story you see that Daredevil sacrifices himself, and I believe he's probably gonna do the same thing in this next update. And the reason I believe that's something that's gonna happen is because there's another YouTuber by the name of Kiger who does videos for MFR. Now, a while ago, he came out with a video and he was talking about data mining and how there's these leaks that came out, and he was showing us Ghost Rider before Ghost Rider even was mentioned he was coming to the game. But there was something in there that I saw in his video that I quickly remembered when I was reading up on this series, and that was we got to see undead Daredevil, and he was just bleeding all over, and he just looked like the ending of Shadowland. So I believe either after you defeat him, there may be another boss after that, and that's when that NPC is standing there and you're talking to him and he's already like all bleeding because you just defeated him, and now he's turning good. Now he's good again. Now he's gonna help you defeat the real problem. Now wait, there's more though. There's more. Now if you guys are still not convinced yet, this one is going to be huge, and this is right here, the nail in the coffin. And this was something that I didn't find out till later after researching. Somebody left a comment in my last video telling me that Black Widow's first mission in the game is actually in Savage Shadowland 2. But this is the part that I lost my shit in, because you are fighting the hand. So it confirms. I forgot the whole Black Widow mission. But she is literally finding the hand in Savage Land. She's finding the hand, and the final boss is Daredevil. And he's not fully possessed yet, but he's already, you know that he already has a spirit. But he's slowly turning into, you know, full-on crazy Daredevil. After seeing that, it confirms that the research that I've been doing and looking up all this information was worth it, because it means that I'm onto something here. It means that this is possibly 100% what's going to happen. It is. That's why Shadowland is in the title. So we're going to be dealing with, when the update comes out, we're going to be dealing with Daredevil as the main villain. We'll make it look like it's Daredevil, but in reality, it's the Beast. And now there's another Omega card, a third Omega card called Daredevil number 28 that came out in 2015. And now it seems like it's a prequel to the events of Shadowland, the beginning of how Daredevil got the Beast in him, because Daredevil gets goes to China, and then he gets tricked by his friend called the Spirit, and the Spirit uses Daredevil and sells Daredevil to the Beast. Well, he sells Daredevil's soul to the Beast, and the Beast ends up killing Daredevil, but they bring him back to life, and then they kill him again, bring him back to life, kill him again, bring him back to life. And basically Daredevil fights the Beast in that comp. And then when he goes back home, he has the Beast already in him, and I think that's where Shadowland starts taking place. I don't know. I think maybe that's how it works, even though Shadowland came out in 2010. Each of these Omega cards are talking about the Beast and Daredevil fighting the Beast, and Daredevil being the evil, and a group of villains. And now the other thing is that Wolverine is in both it has a lot to do with Savage Land, and he has a part in Shadowland. Ghost Rider is also in Shadowland. Spider-Man, of course. Iron Fist is also in there, so we can see Iron Fist making an appearance, or he's already in the game. I don't know. He's a name that I think you can show up and I can be like, okay, and I forget about him. So after seeing all that and after adding all this together, I know that if you were fully not on the boat when I first started this video, you have to be now after everything we just talked about. And it is interesting, and I cannot wait, because what else is going to happen? We know now. I feel like this is the story that's going to be taking place. Daredevil was the more the Beast take control, so I feel like the Beast is going to have a big part of this. So the Beast, and you're going to be fighting the Hand, and while the Beast is taking more control of Daredevil, the area around them, like the town, like Savage Land, is going to make everybody there start going crazy and start acting not the way they would normally act, start getting more furious and vicious. This is going to be an interesting update. I'm excited for it. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys agree with the stuff that I came out here, or am I just speaking out of my ass? I don't know. I'm having a really good time doing these types of videos, breaking down little things that I'm seeing in the game, and exploring the comic book lore and figure out reading these comic books for you guys, and then breaking them down for you on these videos that I believe are going to happen in the game. So if you guys are still watching at this time, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end, and make sure definitely like, and if you haven't followed, make sure you definitely subscribe, okay?